Good afternoon, I'm KHOU meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are tracking some downpours that are occurring west of Houston. There is some stronger storms associated with this batch of storms that's moving through the area. As we look closer towards western Harris County, especially over Katy, there's a lot of lightning that's currently happening with this area that's currently moving just north of I-10. So we have a lot of lightning north of Katy. We have 40-mile-an-hour winds. This special weather statement that was issued by the National Weather Service does extend all the way from along I-10, moving through portions of 290 just outside of Cypress and stretching as far north as Brenham and Navasota. So if you are heading in that direction, areas west or northwest of Houston proper, keep in mind that we do have some strong storms moving through that area with 40-mile-an-hour winds and some heavy rain and dangerous lightning. As we look at other locations across town, there is a isolated storm that is about to move over Lake Houston, northeast of Houston. So definitely keep that in mind if you are probably outdoors or you're doing those outdoor activities, that we're going to start seeing those rain chances start increasing as we progress through the afternoon hours. And so we're starting to see more activity take place across southeast Texas as we go into the rest of our afternoon. As we look at our future track, we are expecting these storms to continue flaring up at least between now and 3 to 4 p.m. I think more than likely that we're going to see those downpours with the at most 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the thing to note here is that these storms are still fast moving. They're not remaining stationary over one location for a prolonged period of time. So that is really not giving us that flooding risk at the current moment. That doesn't mean that that can't happen within the next 2 to 3 hours, but it's looking more likely that the winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere are definitely carrying these storms northward pretty fast. So we are expecting those downpours to maybe move through at least later on today. So at the current moment, Houston proper in terms of central Harris County, we're pretty quiet. Not much going on, but there is a downpour moving over Magnolia Gardens, moving into Lake Houston that has some lightning with it. And if you are west of Houston along I-10 going towards Katy, this little storm, this little isolated storm right here has lots of lightning with it. So you're probably able to hear this not too far away from you if you are moving or if you are in the Katy area. But this is moving directly north towards 290. So if you have any travel plans, just keep in mind that the National Weather Service has issued flood watches for a large portion of Texas west of Houston. So that does include central Texas and the Texas Hill Country along I-10. It does include Austin, San Antonio. And so these are the active flood alerts that are in place for today, and they're not set to expire at least until 7 p.m. on Sunday. We're actually able to see that there is some flash flood warnings that have been issued just south of the I-20 corridor, not too far from Abilene, I believe. So we are seeing more of an increased risk for these stormy conditions across the state of Texas. And so I'm going to go ahead and look at radar once again to see what's going on west of Houston. And so we have that special weather statement that's currently in place. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our watches and warnings. We're tracking these shortwave disturbances that are moving into West Texas. I want to say that's associated that are moving towards from San Angelo to Sonora. So this line of storms likely to move through closer towards Kerrville, unfortunately, where the Guadalupe River Basin is at. I believe that's the dry line that's currently right there. We have that dry line weather that is currently in the situation that really does give us that the risk for some stronger storms. So I'm going to go ahead and double check that to see if we're seeing that dry line activity. That's actually associated with a cold front that's currently moving through portions of west central Texas currently at the moment. So right now, this is not really going to make it this far south, but we're just able to see the unsettled weather pattern across the state that as we head into the next few hours. You're actually able to see the center of a low pressure system that's currently just in and around Oklahoma. So that's kind of giving you a hint that the weather pattern definitely still remaining unsettled across the south central U.S. And so we're already having storms starting to flare up in portions of central Texas, and we're getting our fair share of storms here across the Houston area as well as we head into the next few hours. And so right now, most of the heavier rain is occurring west of Houston. We're starting to see some of these isolated storms moving closer towards the Grand Parkway, and we are seeing lots of lightning with this storm that's out in Katy and then Brenham, I-10 towards Columbus. And so if you are heading in that direction, just keep in mind that the National Weather Service is issuing special weather statements for that area, as we are seeing at most 40-mile-an-hour winds with those storms. So we're not under any flood watches or warnings here across southeast Texas, but just keep in mind that in terms of recovery efforts for the Texas Hill Country, in terms of the Guadalupe River flooding, they're once again seeing a increased flooding risk. The Storm Prediction Center has included portions of southeast Texas under that marginal risk for flooding. So this actually lines up with where rain is falling right now, west and northwest of the Houston area. So we're seeing more of those heavier showers and storms that are going to be in place from Columbus, Brenham, maybe outside of Cypress. We're already seeing some places out in Katy that's seeing some heavy rain. And so we're going to continue to see that as well. I know a lot of folks are probably wondering if Houston's going to get any of these downpours, but it's definitely possible. But at the current moment, no downpours moving through Houston proper right now, but we could see more of these storms in this stormy conditions remain in the picture at least through 3 to 4 p.m. as we go through the afternoon hours. So definitely keep that in mind if you are heading out and about in terms of any outdoor plans. We do have that threat for lightning, and we do see some lightning with these storms currently at the moment as they are on the outskirts of Houston. So Houston proper, not seeing any of those storms right now, but again, like I said, we're seeing more of these heavier downpours moving through the western portions of Harris County, as well as Katy, maybe Cypress, seeing more of those heavier showers and storms. And like I said, that National Weather Service is keeping that special weather statement in place at least until 2:15 this afternoon. And so as we go into the rest of our afternoon and the rest of our evening, we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just warm and humid. I know it's quite hot out there for the areas that are not receiving the rain, but we are expecting those highs to be in the upper 80s and lower 90s. And so the humidity very high out across the Houston area. So definitely practice those heat safety measures if you are out and about and you are spending time outdoors. And so as we go into the next 7 days, expect that these unsettled weather patterns to last at least through Sunday, potentially into Monday with those isolated shower potential. But we are going to have to pay attention to the heat as we go into the rest of this afternoon by Tuesday and Wednesday, as highs are going to be in the upper 90s. So a stormy weekend in terms of the afternoon hours. We're still going to have those quiet mornings. So if you have any outdoor plans, you might want to get them done in the early hours of the day rather than the afternoon, because it's going to be hit or miss storms for today and into tomorrow as well. And of course, we are tracking the latest on KHOU.com and on the KHOU 11 app. Make sure to tune in later this afternoon. Meteorologist Pat Kavlin will be having the latest updates on what's happening across South.